So yeah, welcome everyone for webinar today. I'm really excited to introduce Kyle here from Fox. Fox is a new partner. We've started starting selling their batteries very recently, and really excited about the partnership. Fox, and Kyle will go over it, but Fox is a major player globally when it comes to battery storage, and we're really excited about the opportunity to partner together. So Kyle, if you want to take it from here and do your presentation, this is going to be quite a general presentation, not too much details and technical. We will do more webinars, of course, that are more technical. But we wanted to talk a lot about who Fox is, and then the core products, and then a little bit into some of the technical specs and software and things like that, but not a crazy amount of detail on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think before we get started, I get to say a little bit about me. My name's Kyle. I live in Florida. Been with Fox ESS for about a year. Bill Merstiel, who's also here with me, he's been with Fox ESS for about 3 years now, I think. He also lives in Florida, so quite a bit of people here that are from Fox. We have some, I think, some other from marketing as well, Marina. So feel free to ask questions in the chat, and if there's any questions that can be answered in the chat, we'll go ahead and go through those and answer those as much as we can. And if not, we'll also get to those at the end if there's nothing we haven't answered. But we'll try to get most of that answered throughout the session as we go through. And I've been in this industry for quite a while, probably not as long as you guys have, but I'm 5 years um, working with distribution and other sorts like that, and joined Fox as a manufacturer rep. So excited to tell you guys about batteries. I've fallen in love with batteries over the past few years, and I think this would be a great fit for the Canadian market. So we'll go ahead and jump right in. I do have a poll that we would like to do, and essentially, if you guys can just answer the question, this could be basically telling us who you are, if you're sales, if you work with sales, or if you're in engineering, or if you're an owner, or if you're an EPC. Just kind of go ahead and answer that so I can kind of see our audience, so what we got going on, who we're working with, so I can kind of cater toward you guys and help it make more sense for everybody. Give a few seconds and we'll see what we're working with.
So the poll right now, we're at 32 votes, 38% for sales representative, and then 25 is CEO/business owner, 16 EPC, 13 installer, and 9% engineer.
That's awesome. That's actually a pretty cool mix. So welcome everybody. I'm really glad you're taking the time out of your day to come join us. And yeah, there's the layout. So pretty cool to see that. I'm gonna start the presentation and you guys can kind of follow along with me. Let me give me 1 second here. Oop. I have multiple screens, so I'm going to let me know, basically just let me know how it looks on your guys' end. So I want to make sure everybody
Can't see anything right now.
Yeah, not yet. Give me 1 second,
Okay.
sorry. Let's see.
Perfect.
How does that look? Does that look clear for everybody?
Yeah.
so FOX ESS, what we're going to go through is a few different things today. We're going to go through who FOX ESS is because I'm sure we're probably pretty new to a few of you guys, and basically go through some battery 101, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are probably familiar with batteries. If you're not, then that's perfectly okay too. Okay to those that are very familiar with batteries and those that are looking to learn more about batteries. We'll do a little bit of product training and go over some text and some specs as well. So again, feel free to ask any questions in the chat. We'll try to get those answered as much as possible. I'll see those coming in on my end as well, and we'll see what we can do for those questions. I don't know what just happened, so bear with me. All right. So moving on, one of our flagship products that we currently have is going to be this Power Cube. And what's really cool about this, it's going to be an all-in-one solution, which is going to have your inverter, your BMS, and your batteries all built in one stack. So very limited SKUs, very wide range of opportunities to use it when it comes to either AC coupling, DC coupling. If you just want to have a battery only solution for the homeowner for energy arbitrage, and lots of other use cases for that as well, or just straight up, I want full home backup, but I don't want any solar. All kinds of different uses. We have our Hub G2, which is going to be our MID, which is going to have our ATSs in it. Our hybrid inverter, which is going to be separate, which I'll go over a little bit later, and then our three-phase inverter, which is coming up here over the next quarter. So this is just going to show you a little bit of presence in the market that we currently have. We are quite a big company. We kind of started distributing in Germany and a lot of other areas outside of the US, Germany, Italy, France, Brazil, Australia has been coming up, US, and then Canada. So working on our global presence. A few of our larger markets are going to be the Germany, Italy, UK, Brazil, and Poland markets, along with Austria creeping in as well. So just to kind of show you the how big we are, how many offices we have, been around for quite a while. So a little bit about us. So we have our parent company, which is Xingshan Group, and they're in China. They are actually the #1 producer of nickel, the #1 producer of stainless steel, and the #4 producer of lithium ion. So what that says about what we kind of do is it gives us a little bit more of a vertical integration when it comes to our company. And I'll tell you why that is just besides these points here. But with Xingchen as our backup company, our parent company, it really leads us to be able to do what we do and really pushed us towards being a Bloomberg Tier 1 company as of 2024. For example, this is going to be the Qingshan stainless steel factory. And a lot of things you'll notice about Fox and the parent companies and sister companies is a lot of it is by water. And that's not by accident. That's for efficiency, for shipping it out. And obviously in this picture, I mean, they have a football field in the back. They have dormitories for workers if they choose. So just really cool company and the stuff that they actually give back to people as well as innovating consistently. This is the stainless steel manufacturing facility AT&T, which is in Pittsburgh, which is also owned by Xingshan Group. So presence in the world when it comes to manufacturing as well. So there's options to grow here in the future if necessary for manufacturing. This is Nickel Island. This is where we mine all of our nickel from. And this is with Xingshan. When I say we, I mean Xingshan and us and FOX ESS and all that. It's the world's largest nickel mining area in the entire world. So just to kind of put that into perspective as well. Again, everything by the water, everything able to kind of be shipped out right away, makes for great efficiency and just keeping everything moving. Beautiful place. I haven't seen it yet. I would like to visit it. Okay, so here's a little kind of look at how we're so vertically integrated and what that might mean for you as a consumer or as a distributor or however you fit into this role. Your upstream is you have the Xingshen Group, which is mining all of our nickel resources, all of our lithium resources, all of our battery negative terminals as far as like coal tar, needle coke, and artificial graphite. We have our midstream manufacturing company, this is RAPT. This is our sister company, which is
Just
actually
on the web.
located right next to us.
Can I
When it
call you
comes to
back?
our production facility in China. And what they do is they
To be an honest
take
hour. Who's calling?
it takes away all of the rare earths and then make our battery packs. So when it comes to being able to have our battery packs and not running low on battery packs, you know that we're not going to run low because we have our sister company RAPT who is physically making our battery packs for us or battery cells, and then we pack them and make the modules in our facility, like the downstream area system here. So when I say vertically integrated, it means we control the entire chain of our manufacturing process, including the rare earth minerals, and that allows us to create a more robust product that we know is going to be working well throughout time, as well as keeping the consistency of the product the same and not sourcing from multiple vendors. This is a little view of our EPT factory, which is actually right behind our factory in Windsor. I will show you our factory after this, but this is where they do all the battery cells. They make all the battery cells. And after they make all the battery cells, they actually put them on a forklift and just drive them right across the street to us. And then we will turn those into modules and battery packs as well. So this is our facility here. And this is going to be our 1.2 million square foot factory, which is in Windsor, which is one of the largest in Asia. We actually have something of a similar size going in right across the street. So we're doubling our capacity, which is pretty insane. And if you look right back here in the corner over here, this is RAPT. So when we say we work directly next to our sister company, we mean it. It's just right next to us. They forklift it over, and then we go through and make all of our stuff here. One thing I would like to do is kind of show you a couple of videos. One is a video of, a lot of you are probably sitting there thinking on, why FOX ESS, what makes you different than other companies. And that's what some of these videos will show you, but I'll go into kind of show you this here. So FOX ESS, we were founded in 2019. We won the top brand PV inverter and batteries in Europe and many other countries multiple years in a row, including last year as well, which isn't on here. Recent orders in the US are over 10K. And we also have lots of them installed as well. Our 1.2 million square foot factory, we have over 2,400 employees, which is the largest independent factory in Asia. So kind of put that in perspective, just a really, really big company, multi-billion dollar company that kind of helps drive this entire system. So let's go ahead and take a look at, let's just say, why FOX ESS, and then I'll show you a quick little synopsis of a little video of our factory in Windsor. So why FOX ESS? If you wouldn't mind playing that video for me, I can kind of stop this one, or I think it stops as you share. But sorry again. So also sorry if I'm a little stuffy and a little kind of out of it today. I've been sick the last couple days, but I am pushing through it for you guys. So I
Appreciate it, Kyle.
appreciate your guys' patience.
Yeah, I also want to mention it was quite impressive, the 350,000 systems in Germany you mentioned, right? And
Yeah. So
from my side, on top of that, what I know is that Fox was actually the #1 residential battery supplier in Germany in 2025.
yeah.
So
Yeah. So
that is quite a
$350,000, 1,000 systems in Germany alone. Correct. Yeah, Danny. Which is no small feat.
So the video will start now.
Yeah, go ahead and start this. So this is a little tour of our factory in Wenzhou, China. Perfect. Thank you. Um, let's see. Can you guys see my presentation again?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Okay, perfect. So looking here, a couple of things to kind of point out, which is really kind of awesome about our company, is we make all of our own PCB boards as well. So with other companies that source their PCB boards and source a lot of their materials for their inverters and for their batteries, a lot of that stuff that we do is made in-house, which is pretty awesome. Another point that is really good, which really kind of dials in on our product management, is that we test every single piece of equipment that leaves our facility for 24 hours before it leaves. So before any of these inverters go out, before any of the batteries go out, each piece is tested for 24 hours to ensure that it's working correctly and is done properly. I don't know if a lot of you are familiar, but usually in manufacturing, they do what they call as batch testing, and they'll have let's say a batch of 100, they'll test 10 of them and they'll say, okay, those ones worked great. And then they'll ship out all of them saying they're okay. Uh, this doesn't really help with the RMA portion of it, which is why we have less than 1% of an RMA return rate when it comes to manufacturer defects of our product. So that's another huge kind of important thing to know when it comes to FOX ESS. And as we go through here, this is just to kind of show you that this is our R&D center, which is in Shanghai, and we also have a couple of other ones, one in Wuxi and one in Wuhan. Our R&D basically has 25% stake in FOX ESS, which is why we're so dedicated to making sure that you guys have the correct products, the right products, the most advanced products that are coming to you. And we know that that's important because if there's anything that happens in the field, as an end user, as an engineer, or especially an installer, everything costs money when you have to go back on a truck roll, when you have to go back to have things changed, when you have to look at stuff on the portal to make sure everything's working correctly. So with the R&D team being as large as it is, it really helps us to focus and dial in on those areas and prevent them from happening in the first place. But also, if something does arise, we take care of it and make sure that it doesn't happen again. So really dedicated to just making all of our products work really well. So this is just kind of an example of our all-in-one, which is our flagship product. I'm going to show you a video now of an installer that's actually in Florida who's been using us for the past about year and a half, and he'll kind of try to describe why he thinks FOX ESS is a good fit for them and their company, and should actually answer quite a few questions that some of you might have as well. So if you don't mind playing that, that'd be great. It'll be the other one. Yeah, perfect.
Today we're out here in Sarasota, Florida. We're doing an install with FOX ESS. We got a battery system going on, full home backup. We got solar panels going up on the tower roof. My name's Eli. I'm one of the owners at Origin Solar Roofing and Generators. It was about a year and a half ago. We get our inventory from CED Green Tech. They started stocking FOX in their inventory. And we kind of started hearing about FOX here and there. I heard that it was an all-in-one stack with the battery system and the inverter. And obviously that piqued my interest. So we got in touch with CED. We started looking at the products. The price point looked good. The install was easy. Really all the boxes were being checked. So we thought, let's give it a try. What sets aside FOX compared to other manufacturers, in my opinion, is the commissioning. That's probably the first thing. And then also with the battery, you know, being able to just have it on the ground. You don't have to lift up a 300-pound battery on the wall, use a man lift, you know, depending on how high you're trying to go. It's just simple, keep it efficient, right on the ground. Too easy. We've installed over 100 systems, and I would say, you know, we haven't had one inverter fail. We haven't had one battery that's failed. We haven't had one hub that's failed, and we haven't had to RMA a single product. So that's huge. That's huge for us. One of my favorite testimonials ever, actually, was with the FOX battery. One of the first ones we installed, and the customer was just super happy. Couldn't be happier. He likes to play around with the battery, you know, see the different settings, how he's able to use it at night and during the day. Just getting his full use out of this, you know, out of having a solar battery backup setup. I have nothing but good things to say about FOX. The support from their team. Not only have they been able to be on all of our loan products, which is huge for us, but another thing is just the relationship. Because you can have a good product at a good price, and you can have clients that love it, and that's all great and well. But if you don't have a good relationship with your manufacturer, you know, what do you have? So the fact that we've had such a good relationship with FOX from the get-go, we've only been with for a year, and things have gone this well. We've been able to scale the product pretty quickly and efficiently. We're just excited for a bright future with FOX, and I hope to see them succeed, because right now it's headed in that direction.
Thank you. That's perfect. I did see a couple of things go through the chat, and Ed kind of answered that kind of really well. And I kind of wanted to point this out. It says, can you confirm these products are UL 9540A listed or rated? And one thing that I found out with working with Franken Solar, just to kind of put this out there, is they jump through every single hoop possible that you can think of to make sure that the end user is going to be, or installer at that point matter, is going to be getting the product that they need to install and pass inspections without any hiccups. So hopefully that answers your question on that. And as far as like the lowest safe ambient temperature operation for this unit, the self-temp temperature would definitely be the limitation, but we do have heating inside, which we can kind of go about later. But on this page, as you can see, if you go down to negative 13 degrees Fahrenheit, I know you guys are in Celsius, so I apologize for not knowing Danny, what's that in Celsius?
It's like is it minus 25, I think?
It sounds right.
I think Alex is here. We actually just did the testing again yesterday. Alex, can you maybe quickly give an update on how that went? Or Updell, one of the two of you? Probably trying to figure out what to do.
So the lowest ambient temperature is -25 Celsius. That's the -13 Fahrenheit equivalent. We have run the system in -14 on Monday, I think it was, here in Ontario, when it was pretty cold outside. And we had the system outside cooling down completely off. So the heating was not on, just to simulate pretty much a completely cold system. It started up right away, no issues whatsoever. And you can then see on the app that the heating is starting to kick in and the temperature of the cells are creeping up over the next few hours. Yeah. So pretty good performance.
And I can add to that, not every product passes all the time. There is another product we did test as well at the same time. Don't want to name the name. It's not something that we currently supply, but they did not pass their inspection and it did not turn on. So, it's not a given. Just because a manufacturer says something works doesn't mean it works. So that's part of the reason why we do test the products we carry. And batteries specifically, batteries, inverters. We don't need to start testing solar panels anymore. I think those days are gone. But batteries and inverters, we do like to make sure that they work properly. And that's part of the, what you're getting from us as well, the products we carry.
Perfect. Case in point to kind of what I said earlier about the hoops they jump through to make sure that everybody's taken care of.
Hey,
So
Kyle, just to add to that, I just wanted to throw it out there. What's the impact in the event that, you got it installed and the temperature hits minus 30 degrees Celsius? What it's not going to actually affect the product physically, correct? You're just not going to be able to store power.
correct. Yeah. So to that point, essentially, you're going to limit how much you can charge and discharge. And when you get that cold, frankly, I don't think any battery out there is going to be able to discharge or charge at that point. It's simply in a state of like stasis, to where it's just going to sit there and wait for it to unthaw essentially, and then get back to it. And usually that's temporary, right? You guys don't really have that in like really long periods of time. But yeah, to your point, it once it gets that cold, even if it's at, let's say, even if it's at the -14 degrees, you will see a lower discharge rate and a lower charge rate. That's simply because the molecules are moving at fast, and that's just how every battery is going to work, essentially. But yeah, great question.
It's kind of like if anyone has an electric car. Like I drive an electric car, and if it's -15 outside, you're just not getting the same amount of power out of that car.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I'm going to move along here, and we'll get to some more questions. I think they're getting answered in the chat, but we'll get to those as well. One thing I really wanted to point out with this all-in-one, you can use Tigo or APS, but I believe they're going to be carrying the APS version of these RSDs, which makes for a quick, nice install. And you're going to have individual panel level monitoring up top. You have your 160 LRA. It's going to be scalable solution, which you're going to be able to go anywhere from 8 kilowatt hours all the way to 28 kilowatt hours on one single stack, which you can parallel. And I'll show you that again in a minute. And it also comes with smart relays and generator connections already built into what we call our hub. So cool thing about it is it has all these features. Not only does it have all these features, but it has your battery, your all-in-one solution that you can use without solar. Like I said, for full home backup, for energy arbitrage. You can DC couple the system and just have a really efficient system, which is going to be like over 98% efficiency. I believe it's like 98.5 or close to 99% efficiency. Because you're going straight from DC to DC. And then you're also going to have the option to do an AC coupled system. If you have an existing system to have a battery add-on, you can do that. Another cool application is you have a homeowner. Hey, Mr. Installer, I have a 10 kilowatt hour system or 10 kilowatt system on my roof already, but I need to add another 5 kilowatts. With our system, you can AC couple that 10 kilowatts and then DC couple the remainder of that 5 kilowatts DC straight into our inverter. So you have multiple flexible solutions to offer the customer when it comes down to it. And, with a really short transfer switch, you're not going to notice the power turning on and off. You may notice a slight flicker in the lights like you do on maybe a stormy day, but your internet typically won't reset. Your TV won't turn off. It's very seamless, very, very nice. To show you kind of like what we have here, we have our all-in-one systems, all-in-one solution here. I believe they're going to be carrying the 9.6 and the 11.4 as far as output and charge speed. One thing to note also is that's also our charging capacity. So a lot of other systems, their charging capacity can only charge the battery at 5 kW, or let's say they can only charge it at 8 kW. If you get a 9.6 or 11.4 kW inverter from us, that's the actual speed that it's going to charge the batteries as well. So if you have short sunny days and a few hour burst of energy of light, you're going to be able to charge your batteries up to speed without losing and sending that back to the grid or clipping it to where you're not feeding back to the grid, whatever situation you're in. So you have that much more energy to feed in your battery to then save later for using later on at night. So we have our hub here, which is for 200 amp service, and I'll go in more specs here in a minute. And we have our FOX monitoring system. So with our system here, you'll see our system size is the minimum is going to be 8 kilowatt hours. You can go all the way up to 28 kilowatt hours, but that's going to be determined based off the location of the job. Some of them we call them age J's in the US, but some of the county or areas you guys are in or provinces may only allow 20. You know, I know Frank and Solar does a good job at kind of dictating that, but on your guys' end, I'm sure you guys know that as well. So you do have the option to go all the way up to 28. On one hub, you can do up to 4 battery stacks. So you can do 4 28 kilowatt hour battery stacks, which is going to give you 112 kilowatt hours of storage and 45.6 kilowatts of output. So which is pretty cool, right? Because everything stacks together. You have lots of power for really big homes. You have a little bit of power for small homes. You can always go back and add power later. If they only get 8 kilowatts hours and you want to add some later, you can go back and add it. So there's lots of different opportunities here and flexibility for the end user, depending on how they want to go about using it.
Alex,
Just a quick.
sorry if I can jump in. Alex, can you
Yeah.
maybe talk quickly about your experience on the install on the test system that we had and how that went?
Absolutely. Kyle came and visited us for the test install that Abdel and I did. It was an extremely easy process to pretty much stack the power modules on, or the battery modules on the base frame, exactly what you saw in the video from that US company as well. It's extremely quick because there are no wires that you have to wire up or jumper through, because everything is connected from the bottom of the next battery to the top and then the next battery and so on. And then on top of it, you lift that inverter module on. That's the only slightly heavier component. There are quite 2 nice handles on each side. That makes it even easier to put that on. You have the brackets to the wall, and that was pretty much the mechanical installation of the system. Took us, including opening up the cardboard boxes, I would say less than 10 minutes, including the chit chat with Kyle while we were doing it. The bigger work, of course, is the electrical side, where you have to hang the MID to the wall and wire up the input and the output AC, plus, of course, the AC connection and the communication connection from the FOX ESS inverter. But even that, all in one, or all overall, we probably spent maybe 2.5, 3 hours, again, including a lot of chit chat and coffee while installing the entire system. Very impressive.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah, to kind of piggyback off of that, I know that when a lot of manufacturers say, "Oh, it's super easy to install. Oh, the commissioning is really fast." I've had a lot of experiences where that wasn't the case until I installed this on my own house. I was the first one in the US to install the all-in-one parallel system, which is multiple stacks all in one. So when I did it myself, to their point, it took me 20 minutes to do 40 kilowatt hours of battery, have them all stacked up, ready to be wired in, and then put the hub on. So very short time to set up. And then when I commissioned it, it took me anywhere from 10, maybe 15 minutes, depending on how fast you can type. Because once you turn our system on, it goes through all the safety checks and makes sure everything goes smoothly as you're going through that process. And then the only thing you need the app for is for monitoring, right? Which is why we can use our system off grid. We have all the lights to indicate if it's working, if there's any errors, if there's any issues with the product. So once you hook up the app, then you can kind of see those errors. Otherwise, you won't be able to know exactly what error it is. So really, really easy, really quick install. To put it into perspective, that one video you saw for that install in Sarasota, they came at 9 o'clock. They left at 5 o'clock. They put I believe it was like 11.75 kW on the roof and hooked up the battery, did the connections and everything in 8 hours. And that was with us filming, that was with us feeding them, that was with everything else that we did. So we also have another one that we did, which was the AC coupled, and I'll show you a picture of it later, but it took 3 hours from start to finish. So just a little kind of idea on how how easy it is to install. So with our hub, you have the on-grid, off-grid protection. It's compatible with Generac generators, but you can also use a pull start generator to use as a backup if you need to as well, which there's multiple ways to do that. We also have smart monitoring. We have backup circuits, which I'll show you. It's a 200 amp pass through for the service and a 200 amp pass through for the generator as well. So pretty robust system. And there's other features that are continuously being developed. So for a quick look of this hub in here, this is where the brains and everything works well. So you have two types of system. You have this one, I'm sorry, with the hub, and you also see one without the hub. And I can kind of talk to the one without the hub a little bit later, but in the meantime, we'll stick with the hub. So we have 3 smart circuits up here. You actually have, and each one can be 80 amps. So there's 3 smart circuits. One can be a double pole, 2 single poles, or you can have 2 double poles here. You can have existing solar for your AC coupling here, which goes up to 80 amps as well of continuous. And you also have your FOX inverter here, which is going to be if you have a single FOX inverter. Now, if you have multiple stacks, let's say you have 2 stacks, right, of FOX, and there you want to put them into parallel, you can either wire them outside in a separate box to where you have a combiner panel and you wire 2 60 amp breakers into there, and then you go into the hub and you would hook up into these terminals down here, or you could simply put both straight into here, and you can actually turn one of these smart circuits into a FOX inverter terminal, and you can do that through the app. So if you want to save money and not have to build a big combiner box, a 200 amp combiner box, if you have 4, but you can have, actually, if you have 4 FOX systems, you can use the hub as the combiner as well. This is a 280 amp bus bar that is built into this system for enabling you to be able to do that. Just know that you won't have any smart circuits if you do that, but otherwise you would have smart circuits you can use for load shedding, for if you're going off grid to save power in case of an outage, so on and so forth. And in most of your guys' cases, you're not going to be using this bonding jumper. You just pull this bonding jumper straight out and you're going to have 2 separate terminals. So with our hub, as you can see here, we have another solution besides the all-in-one, which the all-in-one is going to be the main one for everything. Besides, you have a customer that's stuck on solar only. I only want solar. This is the only thing I want. Okay, we have a solution for you. We have a hybrid inverter here, which can actually be used with batteries later on. So you do have this inverter, which is in fact the exact same inverter as the all-in-one, just basically tipped on its side, and obviously it just has a different look to it. But it's the same inverter. You can use that for PV only. Come back and put this system on. So this system would be called our split system, and the other obviously is our all-in-one system. So these can also be used with a hub. So if you say, hey, Mr. Homeowner, do you want to be able to have full home backup later on? Is it going to seem like something you want to do? If you install this with the hub, you can come back and just add batteries later and you're done. Or you can just add PV and then come back later and add the hub and batteries after that. So there's multiple different ways you can do it. If you want to set them up for success, this hub is going to be around for a while. It's going to be easy to hook up to it, or you can just do solar itself. So, and this is going to be slightly different because the BMS isn't built into this inverter. So your top piece is going to be your CM4000, which is going to be your BMS with a battery. And then each one is going to be the CS4000. And just so you know, each battery module is going to be 4 kWh, 3.98. So 4 kWh for each one. So this one would in turn be 16 kilowatt hours of storage here because there's four of them because this one counts as 4 also. So just so you guys kind of know that, kind of go through it and kind of show you this one. As we discussed earlier, 9.6 or 11.4, you can AC couple it or DC couple it or both. We have an LRA of 160 amps, which is actually really high and effective. And this stacks when you have multiple in parallel. So if you have two parallel, in parallel, you're going to have 320 amps of start load capacity starting, and then kind of goes up from there. You can do four inverters into one hub, as we discussed. 12.5 year factory warranty, and then all your listings and ratings and things that you need are going to be there as well. Just know that we are determined to make those work. Another thing it also is a lot of batteries and stuff are NEMA 3 R rated. Ours is going to be NEMA 4X, so you can put it next to salt. It's not going to ruin the warranty. You can put it outside in the water. It's not going to ruin the warranty. You can do a lot of things that's not going to ruin the warranty, like it would with other brands. So really important. Just know that since it is NEMA 4X rated, when you do make the connections outside, everything must be watertight, because if water gets in, water can't really get out because of the fact that it's made to not let anything in.
If I can quickly jump in, Kyle, as far as what's going to be in stock from us as well, we have ordered both of these products, both the standalone as well as the all-in-one inverter / battery. The standalone inverters, we have ordered some batteries with it, but not a great amount. So if someone is planning to use the standalone inverter together with batteries, please let us know, and we need to plan around that. So we expect that most people that are going to go battery out of the box to use the all-in-one solution. And then for projects that don't plan to use batteries right off the bat, but maybe you're still using it as a sales feature, or or just it's not a topic at all, they're not going to use batteries right off the bat. That's our expectation. But again, if someone has different plans, we just need to know about that.
Absolutely. Yeah, great point. And again, this is just kind of showing you what's here. To Danny's point also, the all-in-one is going to make it to where you don't have to wire the inverter to the batteries. So if you buy the inverter and the batteries separately, as far as like the split system, like the one you see here, which is going to be this one, you do have to wire the batteries to the inverter, which comes with the kit, but it's also extra time and extra labor that you're going to have to put into it, maybe extra conduit. Rather than just stacking it right on top, and then all you have to do is wire the inverter straight into the hub, and then you're done. So makes it way faster, way easier to install when you have the all-in-one. So this is a quick little look at LRA. What is LRA? If you don't know what LRA is, you have a 4-ton AC. Let's say you have a 4-ton AC, and the load capacity is 100 amps. So that's how much it takes to kick on that AC. Obviously, we would probably have no issue doing that unless you have a pool pump and a well pump and some other stuff running that's going to be taking up that energy at the same time. It's obviously really important when you're doing batteries. A little thing that I like to say is, knowing what the customer needs, right? If they have 5 fridges and 5 freezers, and they have 2 air conditioners, and they have, whatever the case may be, they have a pump with a heater with the pool and everything, all that stuff stacks up. So knowing what every start capacity and running capacity is, so your running capacity is going to be your RLA on here. So this takes 20 amps to continuously run this while it's running, but it's going to take 110 to start it. So very important features to kind of really pay attention to, because with any battery system, if you overload the start capacity of the battery system, it will not start. And then you have to go back out there, turn off all of the breakers in the panel, and then turn them on one by one to see which one is kind of taking up the most load. So really important to kind of pay attention to when it comes to batteries and whole home backup. So here we have, actually one thing I would like to do is we have one more, I'm gonna stop this real quick. We have one more poll that I like to do. There's a few questions. If you can please post that for me. It's essentially asking what's most important to you when it comes to installing batteries. And I'd like to get your guys' input on what's important and what you would like to see in a battery manufacturer. So in the chat, see, do I have to type this? Do I type this in here,
Susan?
Susan?
Yeah, let me open it again and see if you try to type it in there in the Q&A section, and then see if other participants can answer. Or if it doesn't work, then maybe you can just leave it in the chat.
Okay.
Not sure.
So I put it, I think I sent it to you. Let's see.
Did you not set it up, Susan, to question at a time?
Oh, okay, I see it now. 1 second. Okay.
Yeah, so essentially it's going to be what is most important to you: system reliability, installation simplicity, which I saw in the chat, speed of commissioning, ease of operation, and application ease of use. So these are all things that I think are really important to know on a installer basis, an engineering basis, EPC basis. Like you're setting that up, Susan?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Give me 1 second.
No problem. No, you're good. I'll look through the chat a little bit and see if we can see what we can have.
Yeah, some questions are good right now. I think the price question is coming up as well, as far as there's some people that have used things like Franklin before, and the concern is, is it going to be competitive with that on the pricing side?
I think pricing is very, very competitive when you compare it to Franklin, even Tesla, to be quite honest with you. Franklin Solar has priced this to be very advantageous for you guys, which is another awesome thing. I don't know how many of you guys are on their mailing list, but if you're not, please make sure you reach out to them, get on their mailing list, check out their pricing. Maybe they can, it's up, Danny, whatever you guys want to do as far as like sharing that pricing.
Yeah, we definitely, if you're not set up with us for an account yet, please contact, write to sales@franklinsolar.ca, and I'm happy to set you guys up with an account manager and get you guys signed up so you have access to our pricing. But what I would say is it will destroy Franklin on pricing. It's not going to be close. Like it is, and that's, if you're looking at the success of Franklin in the German market, that is an extremely price-driven market, and they wouldn't have had the success. But they beat everyone in Germany. They beat Tesla, all the other Chinese guys. Like there's a reason they were successful. So it's a combination of price, obviously, but then reliability, features, ease of use. Like there's so many good things about FOX, and that's why we were so excited about the partnership.
That German engineering, right? They really want their engineering to be really well, and a lot of the feedback that we get is the hardware of the material is fantastic. So that's one thing that we definitely pride ourselves on. So obviously a winter sleeve in the future. There are winter things out there that I've seen a lot of other people do. Maybe Bill can kind of chime in on that in the chat. But we don't have a winter sleeve per se currently. But
Yeah.
we are.
Again,
Like I said, we're all.
it is minus 25, operating down to minus 25, right? So
Yeah, it is reliable for lower temperatures, but if you're looking for that more efficiency at the lower temperatures, then putting stuff around it or putting it in some sort of enclosure, I can see that being important to you in some cases. So, all right, let's see what the poll came up to. If you guys haven't voted on that poll, if you wouldn't mind hopping in there, just kind of vote on there. Let's see what you guys are thinking.
Okay, so right now we have 14 votes. Around 60% or 56 now said system reliability, and then both tied in second place is installation and simplicity and application ease of use at 14%. And then 10% is ease of operation. And the last place is speed of commissioning at 0%.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, installation simplicity and system reliability. Yeah, system reliability. Truck rolls are expensive, right?
truck rolls are very expensive,
So yeah, that's what we try to aim to mitigate.
especially in a big country like Canada, where things are far away a lot of times.
Yeah, very true. Cool. Awesome. I'll go ahead and continue on just with the app version of this. Please keep in mind that we will go through the questions in the end to kind of go through some things, but sorry about that. To go through some things, but and if your question was missed, we'll try to turn around back towards it. So let me just share this with you real quick.
Chris, do you have a question? I just saw you have a raised hand there.
Yeah, thanks, Danny. Thanks, Kyle. Just wondering, you touched on salt and you touched on water. Can you elaborate a little bit as far as the precautions that you've put in place? The markets that I function in are all maritime, and we're often installing within 100 meters of the ocean. And you mentioned your facilities are not landlocked. So I'm wondering, over the course of time, what cautionary procedures you put into the manufacturing process, but also what you've seen over the course of time with it being in the field.
Yeah, great question. We do have salt spray testing and aging testing at our facility. So in order to meet that NEMA 4X rating, that's kind of some of the standards that it has to go through. So with that said, with the salt spray and the water, I haven't really seen much issues. The only time I've ever seen a water issue is if the back of the unit is left not sealed correctly, right? Or if it's buried 100% under the water. Those are the only times I've really seen an issue with it. But there's lots of corrosion resistance materials that are built into it with the cast aluminum, and then also having the coating on top of it. As far as installs near water, there has been multiple that I've seen installed in the US, particularly in Florida, that have been installed within 100 meters, and even kind of like right on the water. So you have a bungalow that's on the water. They have their thing that's raised up in the air, their little platform where they have their meter, which is, let's say, 15 feet in the air. The salt mist and everything else that's hitting it, I haven't seen any issues of corrosion or had to replace anything over the past couple years.
What's the
So,
warranty? What does the warranty state? Is there any limitations?
there's no limitations. So like if you have something that's close to the water that's outside, for just so happens like maybe there's a fault or something weird happened and you need it replaced, we typically don't ask questions. And I think that's one thing you'll notice in the US is we don't ask a whole lot of questions. All we ask is that we'll ask a few pictures to see how it was installed, to see how it works. But the RMA process, if you ever have to go through that, is very simple and very quick. So if anything were to happen, it would be replaced very, very quickly.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I don't want to get into questions here too much, but Arash, if you have a quick question, then if we have time at the end, we can do some more questions. But if you have questions, Arash.
Yes. So the main question I have is that is this basically battery? Is this system, can it work with an existing transfer system that is already installed, like the house that already has like a Generac, for example, generator? And like, does it need does it need to replace the hub? Does it need to replace that existing whole house transfer switch?
So you have two options, right? You can leave the generator separate if you want to, which in my opinion, it doesn't really take full advantage of our system. If you really want to take full advantage of the system and be able to charge the batteries during an outage, so on and so forth, then and have everything monitored all in one location and have that automatically turn on that generator, then you're going to want to hook it up into our system because it actually has CTs for those going into where the generator hooks up. So it's going to monitor what the state of charge is. Hey, our state of charge gets down to 30% or 20%, kick the generator on until it gets back up to 80 or to 90%, and then kick that generator back off. So you can leave that generator. I've seen people leave the generator on and just kind of run it at night and then wait till their stuff comes on in the morning and then their batteries get recharged and then use their batteries. But I mean, if you're putting all this money into a very nice system, my recommendation is to tie it into our system because we are able to tie it into our system and monitor not only your battery level, but your entire household and minimize the amount of use you have to have with your generator. Especially nobody wants to listen to their generator at night, you know?
It
So-
wasn't my question, sorry. It was like leaving the existing transfer switch on, but the generator can be like rerouted through, be controlled by the inverter. Like the hub, basically, it's mainly about the hub, whether or not the hub is.
You need the hub.
Yeah. Okay.
You need the hub to do that. If you're
Okay.
gonna be wanting to do that, yeah, you're gonna want to use the hub. You can't. So if you're using you can't really use the existing transfer switch in that case because it's another point of. It really kind of takes a toll on the system and confuses the system.
Got it.
Hey, I can answer this a little bit better.
Yeah,
all right, so
absolutely.
when you're working with the generator guys, if you want the generator to operate automatically, you got to use our ATS in the hub. So the Generac needs to run through our hub in the system. If you have an existing ATS and you cannot or will not dispatch that, that's fine. But you have to have a manual transfer switch in order to transfer it to, in case the battery systems do deplete. So most of the time, rather than have that manual switch, which is an inconvenience, most installers just run it right through the hub.
And
Yeah,
I think
that hub is not that expensive.
yeah, and then to finish it off, when you run it through the hub, you're going to completely get rid of the ATSs that are in place for the generator. Those will completely replace it. So I had a customer that recently did a generator job. They're like, "Oh, we just got this, and we just got the new generator ATS." It was actually multiple. It was a one generator with two ATSs with the 400 amp disconnect, and he had those two ATSs that we had to completely bypass, and we didn't use them anymore, and we just put those one into each hub, and then did it that way. So, but yeah, so you wouldn't use the other ATSs. You would bypass those or remove them.
So it's Randy here. I do have a fair amount of experience within a pre-existing ATS and generators sitting at the homeowner's home. For all of us in Ontario, I do not recommend removing the ATS. I recommend keeping there because ESA will show up and may want to see that ATS in front of the hub anyways. So in some cases, the ATS just runs into the hub and then the generator is connected to the smart import in the hub.
Thank you, Randy. All right, let's move on to the app, and then we can definitely hop our way back into questions. So this is a front screen of the app, the monitoring portal. This is what the customer will see when they first log in. This is what you will see once you pick a portion of the app that you want to or a site that you want to visit that's in the app. So let me, because I'll run something else through you as well. So with this this app here, this is our 2.0, the Fox Cloud 2.0 app, which is going to be the app that you guys are going to want to be using. It's going to show you your load. It's going to show you your P or PV. It's going to show you what you're sending to the grid or using from the grid, how much battery usage you have, what your state of charge is, the standard settings of what you're going to be using. You're going to have quick settings here, which is going to give you your operating modes, which I'll show you here in a second. So with backup mode, you'll be able to see your curve for your solar, your usage as far as the grid goes, how much battery you're using. And this, in this sense, it's in backup mode, so I didn't use my battery because let's face it, during hurricane season, I just kind of put it into backup mode and leave it there. And then after hurricane season, I'll go ahead and take it out of backup mode and put it in self-consumption if I want to, depending on how low I want to go. But this also shows you the self-consumption mode, showing you that you're using your battery at night and then recharging your battery during the day and then heading back to battery. So that's kind of like how those two screens look. This is just kind of like a side-by-side view of the original one. This is going to show your battery curve, which I'll show you another picture which shows a couple other features that it has. And this also shows you your device page. So your device page is, you have a main device page, which will show you all your devices, and you have multiple other pages that shows you each individual device. So if you have multiple stacks or multiple hubs on one system, you can see them all within the same site. So you don't have to make multiple sites. You just add them to the current site that you're working on, so they can monitor everything in one portal or one login, and then also go into each individual location and see what each individual one is doing, which is really nice. This is going to be your time of use. So you have a few different modes, which is, let me show you the few different modes real quick. You'll have your self-power, your time of use, your mandatory, and your backup standby. Then you have your backup reserve for self-power and how low you want to set it to. And you also have it in backup mode on how low you want to go to as well. So with time of use, we can go back to the picture here to where you can do a load shifting schedule to where you want your peak hours to be within this time frame and this time frame, and your off peak to be between these times. You can set up your summer schedule, your winter schedule, your weekend schedules, depending on where you live and what kind of systems you're on. You'll have multiple things to kind of go through and change if you want to set those schedules up and have them be automatic. And you also have load priority, what that's built into the load priority, which is obviously you're changing the load priority of your system. So self-power is basically going to be using solar first, and then it'll use battery, and then it'll use grid. Time of use, obviously you're going to say, hey, I'm going to use solar first and then battery when I want you to, and then charge the battery when I want you to. Mandatory discharge is like if you're going to a site, when you go to replace batteries, or if you say, hey, I want to add more batteries to this site, it's recommended that you charge or discharge those batteries to 50% capacity or state of charge, and then add the new batteries. What that'll do is to balance all the cells out for you, and then ensure there's no issues when you're charging or discharging the batteries in the future. And then you have your backup standby mode, and then we also have a black start capability to where if you lose all power, you're still able to get it charged back up once you get your solar back. We do have a storm watch, and we'll get more information on the setup for Canada, but I'll try to show you in my app so you can kind of take a look at it. But let me pull that up real quick so I can show you guys. Can you guys see my phone? Oop.
Yes,
Okay. Is it clear or should I redo it?
clear.
Okay. So if I go here to my app, my Fox Cloud 2.0, and you look through here, this will take you to an overview. So as an installer, this is kind of what you would see. You would see here's all your plants. And what I was saying earlier about if you go into your plant, you'll see here's your overview of your plant. This is showing you what your PV is doing, what your load is doing, your battery, your grid. You have quick settings here, which is going to take you to your work mode, your NEMA 3.0. This is for California, your smart circuits, where you're going to do your smart circuit setups, and your active connection to where if you want to go off connection or however you want to do it. And this is showing your self-power, time of use, mandatory backup, which I just showed you. Cool thing about this is here is the second page that I showed you of the app, which is going to show you your usage, your daily usage. And then if you scroll, I don't know why it's taking so long. It's a lag between my phone. So if you scroll up, I didn't show you this earlier, but it shows you your PV production, how much you sent to the grid, how much you've self-consumed, what your load consumption was for the day, how much you've pulled from the grid, and then self-sufficiency here. So because I'm in backup mode, obviously I'm sending a lot back to the grid because I have net metering, so I get one-to-one buyback in my area. But obviously that's not always the case. So this will look different when you're in self-consumption mode and time of use mode as well. Your device page, this is going to be your device page. You're going to have your inverters here. So I have a dual inverters. So I have two inverters and two 20 kilowatt hour stacks. So if you go into each one, it'll show you the details on it, and you can kind of go through and look at the settings on those as well. So lots of different things to go through with these. You go into your batteries, it'll show you your current power, your temp, so on and so forth, how much you have reserved, and everything else. It'll also show you your backup remaining, like most batteries do, and yeah. So you can go to each one here as well if you want to, but just kind of give you the gist of what the app looks like on your phone. End users will not have the option to come in here and change certain things. So if they come to their inverter, they won't have a settings on there. They won't be able to change the settings that you guys set for your end user. And that's to protect you guys and to protect the homeowner from changing things that they don't. Obviously we don't want changed on the back end for the end user point of perspective. So in case you were wondering, you do have that kind of control over what the end user does. So that's a little look at the app. Any questions on the app? Yes. So we have a 12 and a half year 4G dongle that also works in Canada as well. So it's not a 4-year or 5-year like most of them are. It's going to be actually 12 and a half years. The only difference is you'll notice is 50, it'll update every 15 minutes. So if in an off-grid situation, if somebody's needing to use the 4G Wi-Fi dongle, it will be updated every 15 minutes. There's no data charges. Hold on. Data charges for updates? What was that question? Oh, are you talking about for updating the system through the cell dongle? Is that what you're talking about? That's actually a really good question. I haven't had anybody ask me that question. Because it's reported every 15 minutes, I would have to get back to you on that question. But yeah, very good. First person to ever ask that question. Do you know that, Bill? Because I don't know that either. Because if you're, I would assume that's built into the updates on how much we're updating it. But I don't want to say yes without knowing 100%. So I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah.
But
So part of it's a prepaid cell phone service. So anytime we are doing, our updates, it does use however long it takes for the update. It does use some of the minutes off that prepaid time for 12 and a half years.
which would be minimal, I would assume also. But then you can also, if they are doing updates or if updates are needed, the cool thing about the Wi-Fi, the 4G stick is you can use a hotspot if you want. If a customer has a hotspot, you can hook up the hotspot, do the update, and then come off of it. So we also have ways to kind of get around that as well, because the 4G stick is also able to connect to the internet as well. So if you want somebody that wants off-grid monitoring without having to use their internet, they can still use the 4G, hook up their Wi-Fi, and not have to worry about using their minutes for any updates or anything like that. unless you're off grid, obviously, unless you're the hotspot. No, but great question. Anything else on the app that anybody has questions on? Sorry, I'm reading the questions. So if I'm quiet, it's because I'm reading. Any future plans to be able to update direct Wi-Fi to the hub from your app? I'm not 100% sure what that means.
There was a question further up too, Kyle, about EV chargers and if you provide one or how it integrates.
Okay, so we don't have EV chargers for the US or Canada. We do have the availability for you to add it into that smart circuit if you want, right? So you can add EV chargers into that smart circuit without having to add anything to the panel that's inside the home or do a main panel upgrade because you're adding the EV charger to it. You can actually just add that straight into the plug straight into the smart circuits if you would like. Oh yeah, multi-mode. Wait, let's see what else.
Todd, I don't understand your question. If you can maybe reread that and maybe change it. I don't fully understand what you're trying to ask about Franken solar stocking something.
Yeah, so also the RS-485, this system work with external smart meters via RS-485. There's no external meter, but each, yeah. All right, just reading some questions. Todd, yes. The Hub G2 every Hub G2 comes with a rapid shutdown button, and it also comes with a 4G stick. I'm not a 4G stick, I'm sorry, with a Wi-Fi stick. For major updates, there are some stuff that's coming. I don't know about major, but there is ease of use for install, like as far as like screwing things onto the system, making stuff that's the screws, captive screws, to where you don't have to lose the screws because sometimes they'll get loose and whatnot. There's some little things that they're changing here and there to really even simplify the install even more. But for major updates for the all-in-one, I don't have any at this time. Another thing that you can do with the all-in-one, actually it wouldn't work. I don't think that would work with your guys' systems because if you can do partial home, you can do partial home with the all-in-one as well. But using the hub is the best way to go about it. And then like the communications between the hub and the battery, the only communications you're going to have is going to be RS-485, or you can use any sort of shielded 18.4 or even 18.6 for that matter if you wanted to, because you will need power to go from the hub to the inverter as well, because that will power the PCB board.
Hey, Kyle, could you speak
Yes.
of what the tech support and service would look like?
Absolutely. So we are building tech support in Canada. Currently, we have our tech support for our US as well. So you will be designated even a tech support personnel with certain phone numbers. So there'll be 3 techs, actually 4 techs. You'll have their personal cell phone numbers. There is a hotline that you can actually go to and submit a ticket as well. But for most cases, if you're needing any sort of help, there will be tech support, me included. You guys could even call me directly. Franken Solar is going to be well versed in that as well. And that's one thing that I think that we're really good at is tech support and how fast we get to people, because typically you won't go to an answer machine. you're going to call somebody that works on site or that can visit the site. And then also one thing that we really pride ourselves on is the fact that if you guys do have an install, we can do an installer training to get for certifications, webinar or in person with, at Franklin Solar or one of their locations to kind of get that kickstarted as well. But when you go to your first install, we want to be there, right? We'll do what we can to be there, just like I did with Franken Solar when they set up their first system. I really enjoy being there and getting to know you guys and showing you guys the tips and tricks and what makes this product so unique and so much faster than a lot of other projects. So when it comes to tech support, you do have those multiple avenues. So you have the email, you'll have the hotline number, you'll have 3 to 4 texts. I mean, yeah. I mean, if you give me a reason to go out there, just let me
How's your
know.
French, Kyle?
It's not. My French is not. But we'll go to Quebec if we need to, for sure. Absolutely. In California, I go all over the place. I'm in the United States. I go to California, I go to Texas, I go to Utah, Ohio, Georgia, Chicago, you name it. We'll fly there and help with the install. So we want to be there for that first install, provide that white glove treatment because we really think it means a lot. So hopefully that answers your question about tech support.
Yeah, it does. Thank you, Kyle.
You're welcome. So API library available on demand for external app development. But it's not necessarily available on demand as far as the API goes. App development is happening through FOX ESS, but we are working through a VPP provider for like virtual power plants and stuff like that, to where if you do have a case like that, we can make it happen. If there's a way that you want to use ours in a specific, I'm assuming that's why you're asking. Sponge EMC.
Alex, do you want to maybe answer that? Sponge is a company we work with on energy management and things like that.
We're currently working on setting that up with a test system, a second test system for Sponge here at our location, and working together with the engineering team of FOX ESS. But that's not finalized yet.
So in the
app library was kind of in the same, I guess, reason. Either we do it with our own app for some weather events or like optimization, or through something that is already available with a Sponge EMC.
Absolutely.
Lots of questions. I don't think we've ever had a webinar where we've had this many questions, so that's amazing to see.
No, that's great. I love the questions. Let me one thing I want to do here is I want to show you guys a few things. I'll show you a couple installs, right? So, and then we'll move into more questions. Because I'll stay here as long as you guys need questions. If you want questions answered, we'll stay as long as you need. So I'm going to show some of you guys that are hanging out a few installs. You kind of see what it looks like. This is actually a Tesla roof and a Tesla inverter that's AC coupled into our Fox battery. So even Tesla users love Fox. I actually had a tech from a Tesla tech. He bleeds Tesla. I promise you, if he gets a cut, Tesla falls out of his blood. He said the only other battery he would use to install is Fox ESS, and that came straight from his mouth. I worked with him closely over the past few years, and he's installed multiple batteries. Franklin, EcoFlow, Sig Energy, Canadian Solar, all those, and he said by far this would be the best one that he would. This is the one we did in 3 hours. It took us 3 hours to fully wire this in, and that was with us chit chatting and kind of getting everything figured out. But everything was done within 3 hours on this house, which was pretty awesome. I think it speaks volumes when somebody who only installs Tesla says this is the only other battery they'd install. Let's see. So here's another install. This is a 20 kilowatt hour system that's installed on a house. It's really hard to fit 20 kilowatt hours of battery on a lot of houses with limited space sometimes. But this is just another way to show you the limited space, what you can do. This goes to show you if you want to go one step up and you want to build a false wall and put lights on the bottom. This is I believe this is in Puerto Rico. They added a false wall, did everything behind it. He actually emptied out one of the Fox hubs, and put his main service panel in the Fox hub just to make it match. Kind of cool.
It's funny.
So this is one also that kind of shows, hey, this is the installation here. You have your PV coming in, and then you have your wiring going to the hub, which is right here. Then you have your disconnect. And this one they opted to do a 200 amp disconnect in here. They use it as the main service panel. Spoiler alert, you can use it as a main service panel in the US. You cannot use it as a main service panel in Canada yet. We are working on it though, just so you guys know. So this is a 60 kilowatt hour battery system that we did. That was AC coupled with the Q-cell ACM system, which was actually a really fun job to work on. Oh, that came just important for the question. So you really want to know more about AC coupling FOX ESS with existing micros, Hoy miles backup. Also, what was it? Your hybrid inverter, namely the MPPTs. So everything is going to go into the hub, right? So your AC coupled is going to go right into the hub up to 80 amps continuous, right into our hub. And we have a frequency monitor in there, a frequency changer that matches the frequency of the micros to where they do work and create a microgrid off when they are off grid. Yes, so every system comes with this button here. This is just a rapid shutdown for this system for the PV portion of it, right? It's the PV, and it also shuts down the inverter. So basically, shut down your system for a first responder if they want to come by. If there's an issue, yeah. It is a 2-wire connection, yes. Well, the only thing it won't shut down is your actually, there's been so many changes, but I would have to double check. I could check my system by hitting my button, but I don't know if it shuts down, if it turns the hub into off grid or not, or if it shuts it off. But I know it shuts down your inverter completely in your DC. But your DC is already cut down anyways because we have the RSS transmitter built inside. There's no interface to adjust the system without the app. So if you want to have access to it, what we have a lot of people do to set a system up when it's off, if it's an off-grid system, they'll use like a Wi-Fi hotspot on their phone, or they'll do the settings like they'll set the system up at their location, like in their shop, and then take it to the site so that they know they have the settings on there before they get there. We do have labor covers in the warranty as well. It's gonna be similar to those of Franklin and Tesla, yes. So there is 4 solar MPPT trackers. One has 2 parallel strings. Oh, actually, Alex, never mind. Alex answered that question already. My bad.
Yeah, so 4 inputs, 3 MPPTs on the large units.
And the first one needs to be parallel. So it's so if you have 10 panels on one string, the other one on the first MPPT should also have 10 panels. And it's always nice to kind of match the same part of the roof, right? If it's all on the south roof or all on the east roof or west roof, just try to match the same array if you can. But cool. So yeah, so here's some other pictures here. This is just another picture of the split system showing you have that option that we were talking about earlier. This is a generator that's built into it with PV. They opted not to have batteries, but they wanted to have a generator, so they just used a generator instead. So there's multiple uses that you have. Here's another old split system. Yeah, ask Frank is sold for pricing. It's gonna blow your mind. This is gonna be a multiple. So this one had 7 panels, They did 7 individual inverters, 7 individual hubs, and 7 individual battery stacks. So to note, every battery stack in a parallel system should be the same height. The reason why these battery stacks are not the same height is because each one is its own individual system because it goes to its own individual hub. But you can monitor that all in one site through your phone, and then you can go into each hub individually. So you have tons of opportunities to make all kinds of different solutions. If they needed to, if they really wanted to, they could put 4 stacks of 28 on each one of these inverters and have a crazy amount of batteries. So
Hi, Kyle. Would you mind going back to that Generac install photo?
yeah.
Did you say that particular installation did not have batteries installed with the Fox
Yeah,
Hub
they opted
and
not to have
hybrid?
batteries. Ask me, don't ask me why. They just said, hey, I already have a generator. I just don't want batteries. I don't know why you wouldn't want batteries because they're more efficient and quieter, my viewpoint, and just have the battery, the generator as backup. But you can do this without batteries, and essentially, um, what would happen is during an outage, right? You would still have that generator backup. If it detects an outage from the grid, it would kick your generator on and feed the house.
I can answer that one. They had a Generac backup already installed, and they wanted solar, so they didn't want to spend the money for the battery stack since they felt they already had the generator. So they just did a retrofit for the Generac and added the solar as a DC only.
Yeah.
And in a backup situation, the solar inverter would shut down, correct?
Correct. Yeah, because you're not going to have you're not going to have essentially if you're not going to have that grid, right? You're not going to have that grid that's
Yes.
keeping it on.
So
Correct.
with the hub, yeah. So I just want to say with the hub, it does have islanding option. So we could technically do an island. The only thing is there's not really any backup storage. You know, it would be pretty unstable, you know, depending on how it's set up.
Thank you.
Also to point out on the standalone inverter, which is what was used there, it is an extremely economical string inverter. Probably, I think if I look through our price list, it's probably the actually lowest priced string inverter we have. So really interesting option from that side of things as well. If you have also, we could use it if you have a large single phase commercial project, for example, it would be an extremely economical solution for that.
Yeah. This is just an example of a 400 amp service that has 2 hubs and then 2 inverters on each hub and then 4 stacks because they're feeding it to each panel. But they actually came back and did 28 kilowatt hour stacks, 4 of them, and they added 4 AIOs to this as well. So this actually has 8 stacks of batteries and 2 hubs for this system, which is pretty awesome. I don't have a picture, but Bill probably has a picture. One thing I do want to show you real quick before anybody else has to leave, to give you the opportunity here, you can follow us and tag us on Facebook, Instagram. This is my phone number, so if you scan this will put my phone number directly into your phone. And this is Bill's phone number and email. Please take a picture of this if you need to, or just scan it and follow us. You'll see everything that we do on there. And Marina actually posted it in the chat as well. Bill, do you want to go into the labor warranty? Because we're working on actually buttoning that up, and Bill has more of that information.
Yeah. So to answer the question, it's going to be very similar to Franklin and Tesla's warranty when it comes to truck roll for the labor, and then a cost for the install of the hub, or let's say the inverter and battery stack. So it's not finalized. In fact, we were just getting a final approval on that probably within the next 48 hours. So hopefully by next week, we should have something in place. So I don't want to go into too much because we're still kind of hashing out how that's going to look. But it's going to be very similar to the programs that are currently existing. So more on the lookout for next week. We should have an answer.
Thanks, Bill. Also, I just wanted to show you guys a quick look at the website. So this is our website. It's going to be fox-ess.com. If you come on here and you're looking for more information and you guys want to know more about us, you come to our downloads page here. This will give you tons of information as far as like certificates. I know that Franken Solar has a lot of this information, especially when it comes to certifications and all that stuff, because not all of them will be on here probably for Canada right away, but we're working on adding those as well. But if you come in here, if you go to user manuals, you go to quick install guides, there's a lot of stuff in here. I also have extra literature that I can send out for installers if they want anything else as well, like even when it comes down to helping sales. But if you come in here to power, like these here, you go to Power Q Series 39 wire diagram with hub. There's a lot of stuff in here that kind of shows you how it gets wired, if you have a single hub or if you have one inverter, and then it shows you whole home backup AC coupling. It shows you whole home backup DC or partial DC coupling. I think most of you guys would be doing whole home anyways. But yeah, there's tons of this stuff in here. We're constantly working on getting more 39 wire diagrams added in there. And there's a lot of other things in there as well that can be very helpful and useful for you. So this is a great website for resources if you guys wanted to head to the download section portion of the website as well. This is just, I had this up here. This is just the online monitoring portal. There's other stuff in here that we can go through, but Alex is also, we're working on this with Alex. He was making some more changes to actually help you guys more as well. But you have your, your device pages, your dashboard, your settings, all that stuff. You can actually come in here. Let's say you go to your devices, you see your AIO, go to real time, and you have, your strings, what each string is doing, so your amps, PV1, PV2, PV3, all kinds of stuff on here. But again, more stuff coming. Any more questions that anybody has that you might want answered? Fox Hub has terminals, yep, for up to 250 MCM on the AC. Yep, in and out, correct. How many are arriving in February? That is
Alex, can you answer that question?
Alex question.
A total, we are getting two parts. So we're bringing in some product from the US for immediate use, and then the majority of equipment is going to come from China directly. But I want to let Alex speak to the exact quantity. We've ordered quite a large amount to start off.
Exactly. As Danny said, we have a significant shipment coming in from China directly, because obviously with the tariff situations that we have today, that's the only cost-effective options for the Canadian market. In the meantime, to have product available, we work together with FOX ESS to have some product available from US supply. We are absorbing the additional cost to get customers and projects started until the main supply comes in from China directly.
Yeah. So I just looked at it. I looked that up. It looks like 20 systems are coming in from the US. I would have to look at the exact mix of that, what that looks like, and then 72 battery systems from China. But obviously, we'll be ordering more, right? As we sell and start building that up significantly from there.
Perfect. Any other questions that anybody has? If there's no further questions, you guys can feel free to reach out to us via email, via what I showed you below.
I think a few statements about the hub, because that's really something that is standing out. First of all, you mentioned it's a 280 amp bus bar rating in the hub. That is not usual for most hubs on the market. In addition to that, the system is UL 1741 CRD PCS certified, which means it can be used to monitor the busbar oversubscription. So you can connect a lot more solar, even if you do a load side connection. It also has a generator input of 200 amps. So it's not just a 100 amp generator input like most of the vendors. It's a full 200 amp grid connection as well as a full 200 amp generator input. Both of the inputs have a AC override function, which means that, for example, if there's a lightning strike and the inverter is dead and can no longer close the relay on its own, or a relay is stuck, the homeowner or a technician or the electrician can manually bypass the AC input to the AC output, that the customer is not sitting in the dark. That's an issue with other specifically all-in-one inverters in the field from whichever brand. On top of that, as I mentioned earlier, the terminals are dual terminals, so 2 times 250 MCM for the AC output to the backup panel, as well as 2 times 250 MCM output to the non-backup panel, which is one of the largest conductor sizing and terminal lux or lux sizes in the industry. The input to the unit is up to, I think, also 250 MCM without the main breaker, or if you place a main breaker in, which in Canada is normally not the case based on the service entrance rating requirements that the hub is not fulfilling, you can go up to 300 MCM on that Eaton CSR 2200 breaker. So it's a product that has a lot of conductor capacity, specifically for the new code rules when it comes to aluminum conductors on a 200 amp service, where you now have to install a 250 MCM aluminum on that size. Of course, if you go with copper, that's not a problem at all, because for 200 amp service, you would be using either a 3-aught copper as a standard with the newest code, or if you have to upsize based on voltage drop, you can also land 4-aught easily, again, up to 250 MCM. So really, really great feature and really great packaging on that hub.
Absolutely. Any other questions while we get you guys here?
Getting towards last call here. We've been on for
Getting towards last call here.
an hour and 45 minutes. So I mean,
I appreciate all you guys staying and learning what you can about Fox and showing up. And we're here to help. We want to. That's kind of that's our job, right? We want to kind of show you the product, but we're also want to walk you through the product and let you know the ins and outs and anything we can that can really help you with any of your installations or product offerings for your end users or customers.
yeah, maybe I want to add too, like this is obviously the you know, the residential product, but Fox also has commercial products, and there's, you know, we have other commercial products depending on size you're looking at. We have, like, there's a lot of solutions out there on the commercial side as well. So, you know, reach out, and we want to help solve problems. And we have 2 engineers on staff here with Alex and Abdel, and it's a focus for us at Franken Solar. We do see the world's moving towards this direction with storage, right? It's never been this economical to go battery backup. And yeah, so if you have systems or have situations where you think batteries may be a solution, then reach out to us, and we're happy to help out and see, and we'll be open if it doesn't make sense, then we'll tell you that, right? But you know, let's talk about you know, the opportunities that are out there.
Danny and Kyle both, how soon will this presentation be posted? I've already got people saying, I wanted to be there, but I couldn't. I really want to watch it.
That would be a Susan question.
Yeah,
Susan.
so as soon as WebEx, the platform, finishes downloading, I'm hoping today it'll finish, you know, getting all the information. So by tomorrow, if WebEx has, you know, everything ready, by end of tomorrow, it'll be on our YouTube channel.
Oh, amazing. So anybody on the call, you have people that may be interested, you'll have the ability to pass the information along to them as well. Yeah, we're really excited. It is going to be a great product.
Thanks, Ed.
Awesome. Yeah, okay. If there's no more questions, Kyle, really want to thank you again. Partnership's been great so far. Really looking forward to going to China with you next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Same.
But yeah, like it definitely there's a lot. It's been a lot of work behind the scenes, right? To get this started. Something we've worked on for quite some time. Also, big thank you from our side to Abdel and Alex and all the testing and all the work they've done here on this product and vetting it and all that stuff. It's really important stuff. Important, and we don't just bring on new products easily. We want to make sure what we bring on works, and we do our due diligence before we bring on a new product. And Fox has been, amazing on that side as well.
Thanks, Danny. Likewise.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah. Thanks again, Kyle, and thank you everyone for attending.